What experience of yours is so crazy you don't tell people about it because they wouldn't believe you? I once spent a few nights in Yosemite, basically just hiking and getting drunk from time to time. One night myself and a group of friends hiked to the top of this little mountain near Camp Toanga. I distinctly remember all of us seeing this meteorite fall into the atmosphere and briefly light up the sky. But that's the last thing I remember. It's as if I blinked and it was late afternoon. I got off the ground. Nobody was around me anymore and my ribs were in a ton of pain. Scared the shit out of me. I started running down the hill following the path hoping it would take me back to people. I still remember running and it feeling like I was in a nightmare, like a Twilight Zone where everyone disappeared. Luckily I got back to my camp and my buddy was freaking out asking where I went and that he was this close to calling 911 to put out a search party for me. I tried my best to just wave it off, but it freaked me out so much to just lose 16 hours like that. The part that scared me the most was to this day I have this thing in my rib where the pain was. No scar, went to the doctors about it, doesn't show up on an x-ray, non-cancerous etc. Someone messaged me and had a pretty good idea of putting a flashlight under my skin. Sadly the only flashlight I had was on my phone and taking a photo was impossible. I just bought a flashlight and posted the original photo, but I swear, if you tweak it around a bit you see something that doesn't look like part of my rib or a cyst, a fat deposit etc. I'm posting the original photo and not any altered photos where I change brightness and contrast because I'm trying to be the best op I can be and avoid any accusations of this being a hoax. I'll be honest guys, I'm actually a little freaked out right now. And I'll keep you updated on my doctor's appointment this Thursday. Yeah, you, totally got abducted. I used to sweat blue for a few months. My clothes, nails, and phone cover all got stained blue. It went away after a while on its own, which was good, because the doctors couldn't figure it out. My girlfriend has been turning her toilet seat blue and spots, 2 separate seats at different homes. In fact, in both homes there are 2 bathrooms. I don't sit on her toilet and she doesn't sit on mine. It doesn't seem to be chromhidrosis or pseudochromhidrosis because her sweat isn't blue and nothing else is getting stained. Apparently she's not alone. It's happening to others, mainly women it seems, some of them pregnant. I've yet to see a definitive cause. Speculation includes hormones reacting with something in the seat. That is kind of what it looks like, some kind of chemical reaction that has bubbled up through the plastic. With effort much of the staining was reduced, but some spots returned in less than a day. As I understand it, seats are typically made with melamine and zinc stearate. Maybe r/askshans might have some ideas. Edit, some of the stains. Please excuse the schmutz. Before snapping the pic I went the seat with a magic eraser to see what would happen, and it had some crap on it from the last time it was used. And for those still saying dye from blue jeans or other clothing, as I said in a reply further down, that's something we considered. It is a possibility, but there are some factors that might make that a less likely explanation, mentioned below. Also, since cleaning the spots and having some of them return overnight, new spots have appeared in places that didn't have spots before, of a type we've never seen. Small ovals with little impact tails, as if from water that dripped onto the seat after she washed her hands. Weird, no? I told her I was getting very suspicious of what was going on in her bathroom and that I might need to start inspecting her ass. By God, we'll get to the bottom of this. I was like 12 years old and played with my dog in the backyard. He suddenly stopped and just looked at my leg. There was a piece of wood in my leg. It was 8 centimeters long and in 90-degree angle in my leg. It didn't hurt. I didn't feel anything. To this day I'm wondering how this stick found its way into my leg. This is some enemy stand shit. I have a friend who was pushed over her fence and fell into a bush while playing with her brother. She tried to get up, realized her leg was stuck, and looked down to see a stick pierced clean through her calf. She didn't feel it. I guess it's because of shock, or whatever. My theory is that when the spinal column senses such an intense pain coming from a lower extremity it prevents it from reaching the brain and causing you to panic and make the damage worse. Maybe it's so the pain doesn't prevent you from running away. If an animal attacks you and maybe hurts your leg bad, it's better for you not to stop because of the intense pain, but rather be able to run away, at least as long as the damage isn't too big. One day, completely out of the blue, my daughter, 8, started telling me she wanted to look out the window to see shooting stars. I told her it's very rare to see any shooting stars where we live, Yonkers, New York. She was really adamant that we should look and try to see one anyway, so I walk with her over to our living room window and look out with her. I swear not 10 seconds had passed before a meteor went streaking by, closer than any I had ever seen. You could see the trail it left in the sky, and it glowed bright red. She got so excited and ran to tell my wife that she saw one. My wife does not believe that me or my daughter saw a meteor that quickly. I swear on my life it happened. When I was younger, I worked at a popular theme park in the UK as a ride assistant. One of the rides I worked on was the River Rapids. 2 young Scouse lads who had obviously been drinking got on, and it was clear they were going to be a pain in the ass. As the raft came towards the end, they both were running around the outsides of it. The raft hits the wall, and they both fell, and this is near the lift section of the ride, which, if they'd been snagged, would have torn them up badly. I ran down, and God knows how, managed to pull them both out. They were both swiftly escorted to the medical center and I'm assuming off park. The same day, after I finished work, I went to go and see a friend for a few hours, and on my way home I follow a car that is all over the place. The car hits a curb and flips onto its roof. I stop my car, run across, yank the doors open and pull both of the occupants out. Same 2 lads had pulled out of the water at work earlier in the day. You clearly interrupted some Final Destination stuff right there. Twice death, 3rd time's a charm. Death hates him. See how local redditor u/drew into 1981 thwarted Death's plans twice in one day. My father was adopted, and he died when I was a toddler. It was a closed adoption, but my grandparents who adopted him were told some things about his birth parents, occupation, the country they were from, etc. The occupation sounded made up to me, and I always thought my grandpa was just trying to make my dad feel better about the people who gave him up. Earlier this year, my aunt, also adopted but from another family, and cousins were doing ancestry DNA kits. I decided to Google the occupation and country of origin that my grandparents had been told about, and within 45 seconds I found a man who looked exactly like my father. My entire family was flawed. Turns out he is famous in his country and won some very well-known awards. I messaged him on LinkedIn, and he confirmed that his child was put up for adoption without his consent. The dates matched, and the resemblance to my father was uncanny. He always thought that his son would come looking for him due to his fame. He introduced the parents of a very famous celebrity that almost anyone would know. We talked for a month or so, but now we don't. He has other children, and I don't think his wife liked the idea of a random grandchild coming out of the woodwork. I really just wanted to meet him, as I don't have any memories my father, and have always had questions about my heritage. He seemed very sweet and was devastated that my father had passed away so tragically. But yeah, the TL doctor, I found my dad's biological family despite a closed adoption. My grandpa is famous and incredibly wealthy, but we've never met, and he doesn't want to talk to me anymore. Sounds pretty unbelievable to me. When I was a teenager, I almost got run over by Robert Pattinson in my hometown. It's a smaller city between Bruges and Ghent. He was driving a Mercedes, probably on his way from Brussels to the hotel he was staying in on the coast. I'm 100% sure it was him. He was in Brussels for a premiere for the latest Twilight movie at the time. Only told my dad. I think some people would pay to have Robert Pattinson run over them. Was crossing the border at the Golden Triangle from Thailand into Myanmar. Had a heat stroke due to dehydration and passed out in the middle of the street right after the passport control. Woke up to 5 armed soldiers pointing rifles in my face. Don't speak a word of Thai or any other Asian language. I signaled I need to drink water with my hands, and they gave me a Coca-Cola and helped me sit down in a nearby chair. It's too bad you didn't speak the language, because they were saying, hey, you're finally awake. You were trying to cross the border, right? Frick. Therim. I like watching wild birds at my work. I watched a young magpie steal bread off a raven. The magpie's family then attacked the young magpie, took the bread off, and gave it back to the raven. They were bird yelling at the young bird, then called to the young magpie and kinda forced it to the front of the pack to the raven. The adult magpies gently pecked at the young magpie until it sung at the raven. Then the magpies all waddled away and went back to hunting for bugs. I feel like I watched some sort of family magpie discipline to prevent an interspecies bird war. Edit. These are Australian birds, so they are the size of footballs. Magpies are smart and a bit cunty if they don't like you. I watched a robin devour a hummingbird, killing it immediately, and after a group of crows attacked the robin and almost killed it. Ravens are smart, and they have great memory. Apparently they can rally against people and point out aggressors, so the rest of the pack know they are aggressive. I was on a train and this train had one of those chains which you pull in case of an emergency, and it stops the train. And if you pull it for no reason you can face up to 2 years in prison and a huge fine. So I was just sitting, and when I decided to get up to go to the washroom, I was kind of stuck. So I used the nearest thing to help me get up, and what I pulled was the chain. Suddenly the train stopped, and I was like, oh crap, here I go to the prison. When suddenly people started running out of the train. P.S. The train had no doors. You would understand if you know what an average local Indian train looks like. I don't know about other countries, and what I realized was that a compartment of the train was on fire. So that's how I survived from going to prison and accidentally saved the train. I told this story to a friend, but he would not believe me, so I just let it go. TLDR, I saved train and no go prison. Close bracket. Somebody saw you accidentally pull it and decided to save you from prison. Oh god, I hope you are right and wrong at the same time, lol. It's my time to shine. Arsonist with some degree of morality. Chaotic good. So you made it till the end. Maybe you want to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. Have a nice day, my friend.